Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Sumo fans! I'm Vinny and this is Sumo Files. And today I'm going to talk about Day 6 of the 2026 Natsu Basho. So without further ado, let's dive into the highlights. Ura started things off with an Watenage victory over Kotoeiho. Ura started with a head-first charge and trapped Kotoeiho's left arm, creating pressure before grabbing the Mawashi with the right hand outside and forcing the throw by pushing the head downward. It was a huge victory for Ura, who now has 3 straight wins and is finally starting to look comfortable. For Kotoeiho, the loss kills his momentum a bit, but also serves as a learning experience against more versatile opponents. Asanoyama then turns the tables to defeat Shishi by Yoshidashi. After a Kachiage, Shishi tried trapping Asanoyama's arms before attempting a Kotenage, but the Takasago wrestler not only survived, he used the trapped arm to keep pushing. Once they reached the Tawara, Asanoyama attempted a Suinage, but realizing it would not work, he finished it off by pushing Shishi out. This victory finally ends Asanoyama's win-loss zigzag and allows him to stabilize a bit. Shishi, meanwhile, continues his own cycle, though in a much more negative way. Wakamoto Haru returned to winning ways with an Ushidashi victory over Ichi Yamamoto. Right after the initial clash, Wakamoto Haru pulls the right arm and shoves the elbow aside before finishing with strong thrusts. Excellent strategy from the Arashio wrestler, who can finally breathe again in the tournament. Ichi Yamamoto now sits at 2-4, though honestly that record does not fully reflect how well he has fought so far. More than anything, it highlights his difficulty finishing matches. Yoshino Fuji got back to even territory with a Kubinage victory over Takanosho. Takanosho had a great Tachiai, but focused too much on pure forward pressure, allowing Yoshino Fuji to reverse things by grabbing both the Mawashi and the head before executing the throw at the Tawara. Both men now sit at 3-3, but while Yoshino Fuji is recovering after his rough opening days, Takanosho suffers a cold shower that prevents him from reaching a third straight victory. Wakatakakage bounced back immediately with a Yurikiri victory over Fujinokawa. The Kumusubi quickly secures the left hand outside, and after rotating around the dohyo, Fujinokawa realized he would not secure the Mawashi and attempted a Suinage instead. When that failed, Wakatakakage briefly considered a Hataki Komi before switching approaches, pressuring the chest and then the chin of his opponent. This brought them to a brief stalemate, but after that, the Arashio wrestler suddenly exploded forward to finish the match. Wakatakakage improves to 5-1 and immediately recovers from yesterday's setback, remaining firmly in the title race. Fujinokawa, now 3-3, can at least say his brutal Sanyaku schedule is finally over. Gonoyama continued his strong start with an Ushidashi victory over Atami Fuji. His opening Odowa was not especially effective, but the rapid thrusting attacks that followed ended the match quickly. Just like last tournament, Gonoyama is off to another excellent start and remains firmly in the hunt near the top. Atami Fuji, meanwhile, keeps alternating wins and losses, dropping to 2-4 and still struggling whenever he falls behind early. Kotoshoho then quickly overwhelms Daieisho with Oshidashi. The Sekiwake instantly raised Daieisho's posture and had little trouble driving him out from there. After 6 days, Kotoshoho finally manages to build a winning streak and return to even territory. Daieisho, meanwhile, suffers his 4th straight defeat and is beginning to find himself in a serious trouble with 2 more Sanyaku opponents still waiting ahead. Hiradoumi earned a hard-fought Yurikiri victory over Kotozakura. Hiradoumi secured the Maimitsu early, and even though Kotozakura briefly established the Migiyotsu, the Sakaigawa wrestler lowered his stance to break the grip and drive forward. The Ozeki survived by grabbing the Mawashi again, leading to a somewhat long exchange near the edge. But despite eventually securing both sides of the Mawashi, Kotozakura's posture was far too upright and he was forced out. The victory brings Hiradoumi back to even at 3-3. For Kotozakura, however, it completely destroys the small momentum he had created during days 3 and 4, leaving him already with 4 losses. Finally, Kirishima survived another war to defeat Oho by Yurikiri. Right after the initial clash, Kirishima secures the Hidariyotsu while Oho answers with the right hand outside. And as they rotated, the Ozaki nearly lost the match and barely survived with one leg balancing on the Tawara. Yet, even in that position, he still managed to push Oho back to the center. There, Kirishima secures the Morozashi, while Oho immediately answers with Kimedashi pressure. And after rotating once again, they returned to nearly the same position. The difference this time was that Oho was no longer controlling the Ozaki's arms as firmly, and after several frozen seconds, Kirishima suddenly pulled the Mawashi with all his might and forced him out. It was an extremely hard-fought victory for Kirishima, who continues looking unbeatable despite several dangerous moments throughout the match. Oho, meanwhile, has only 2 victories so far, one of them by Fusen, which is beginning to raise questions about whether opponents have already figured out his style. Now, to finish things off, here are the results of the 6th day of the tournament. And these are the bouts that will happen tomorrow on day 7. In addition, here's the updated table for the Natsu Basho's yusho race. And if you enjoyed this coverage, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel and becoming a member to support me even more. That's it guys, until next time.